Something that is so bizarre living in America is what people consider to be like fat and obese. I've lost 47 pounds. I am still trying to lose weight. I was obese, told by a doctor I was obese. My doctor tried to get me on Ozempic. Like, they were very concerned about my weight. I had blood pressure, cholesterol. I was already having health issues from my weight. I, time and time again, get my comments, my DMs, you're not obese, you were never obese, you weren't even fat, things like that. And I'll get people in my comments being like, you're still obese, like, whatever. I was on the lower end of being obese, and I'll say that. I was not morbidly obese. I was never like 300, 400, 500 pounds, but I was still having health issues from my weight, and I was obese. So it's crazy that being in America, that I could literally be having that much excess body fat to the point where I've lost 47 pounds and I still have excess body weight on me. People try to tell me that I wasn't that fat. Crazy that like in America, people are just so sensitive about the topic.
So I started counting calories and I just now realized that I'm just a fat person who does fat person shit. I am just eating way too much. And I have no idea like the calories that are in something. I have zero concept of that. You know what? Those things that you put inside of your water, the little like powder packets, those have calories in them. And I wasn't even thinking about it until I started counting calories. And I was like, let me look up and see. There's probably nothing in here, but no, there is. No, there for real is. I'm just a fat person doing fat person shit. I mean, that's just the reality of it. I saw a video where a girl was like, oh my God, if you eat a bagel in the morning. And I was like, how many calories can a bagel possibly have? Like 200? No! It's literally like 400 calories. Plus, if you put cream cheese or jelly or whatever on there, that is an additional probably 100 calories. So I am fat and it is all my fault. But that also means that I can be skinny and that can be my fault too. So, you know, a win's a win. I'm going to take it. It's a win for me.
You know, I hate to be the person that just keeps barking up the same tree, but it's really bothering me recently. Specifically since I started losing weight, it is bothering me so bad. Okay? My first impressions are always ruined. Doesn't matter. If you are fat, if you're a fat person, if you're overweight, if you're plus size, whatever you want to call it, you guys always get mad at me for calling it fat, but whatever. Your life is just set up for you. It really is, because you no longer get a first impression. You don't. Because if you're fat, your first impression is that you're fat. You don't get to be funny, you don't get to be quirky, you don't get to be cute, you don't get to be anything. You don't get to be hot. You don't even get to be ugly. You're fat. That's just all you are. And anything else that comes after that is just an add-on, a bonus, because nobody cares. At the end of the day, nobody cares. Because if you're fat, nobody cares what you have to say. They can sit here all day, all night, all afternoon, and they can say that they care about you, blah, 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 but they don't. They don't. Because a first impression is everything. As much as a lot of people say, oh, like when I first met you, I thought you sucked and now I love you. Like, and that's great, you know, but when that's always the case, it sucks. It literally sucks ass, because you don't get to be anything other than fat until you prove yourself otherwise. So being fat, you're constantly proving yourself. You're constantly proving that just because you're fat, you're not dumb, you're not rude, you're not stupid, and like automatically you don't get to be anything else. And it literally sucks. And nobody talks about it. And it pisses me off. Like my whole life. Literally my whole life. I don't get to choose, you know? I don't get to be the nice girl, like the nice funny girl. I don't get to be pretty first. I'll always be fat first. And it pisses me off.
And this is like maybe a controversial take, but I don't think that the majority of fat people, until you learn about body liberation and body positivity, no one would choose to continue to be fat in a world where they absolutely hate fat people. People think that I'm glorifying obesity by spreading the word and like telling everybody about this information. Trust me, I wouldn't recommend anybody be fat in this world. It is horrible. It is so traumatizing. It is so isolating. People are evil. They are cruel. Strangers think it's okay to tell you on the bus, you're fat, you should lose weight, you're disgusting. Like, it's nonstop. And that leads to people isolating themselves and like seeking comfort through food.
I just got back from Europe and I finally understand why all these Europeans call us like the fat Americans. One of the first things I realized when I got to Europe is the fact that over there the portion sizes are like actually normal, and so takeout containers really aren't even a thing there. Because when you get a meal, it is supposed to be the size that will fill you up by the end and not leave you feeling like overly full. Whereas every time I get a meal here, if I want to finish the whole thing, half the time after I like feel so disgusting or I have to take some home. And somehow I would get snacks over there, like some of the same snacks I would get in America, like Lay's and Doritos and all this stuff, and they had like less calories, less sugar, and less fat, and it tasted almost the exact same, and I just didn't even understand how that was like possible. But I even remember one night we were at dinner and my brother was ordering his meal and the lady was like, oh, well, this is meant for 2 people. He was like, it's fine, like I'll eat it. She's like, are you sure? Like, this is a serving for 2 people. And he's like, yeah, that's fine, I'll eat it. And we get it, and he was like, this isn't even that big. And we told her, we're like, this is like a normal portion size in America for 1 person. Like, 1 person is expected to eat this. The fact that like for here this is like strongly suggested as a 2 people meal is like baffling. And I also like the way of eating over there better. I like getting up from the table and having a meal and not feeling like so gross after and so like sluggish. I like getting up and being like, you know what? I'm satisfied, I feel good, and I don't need anything else.
I found out as a fact that if you are skinnier, you do get treated better.
This is 100% true, and thin people will try to gaslight you and say that you're making it up. I have been fat my entire life, ever since I was a child, throughout my teenage years, throughout my adult life. As a fat person, you are just used to the way that society treats you, but you don't understand how badly you are treated until you lose weight. Recently, I've lost 80 pounds, and suddenly the world treats me like a human being again. People actually look at me in the eye when I'm speaking to them. Men open doors for me. Men actually talk to me for the first time in my life. I get complimented on my outfits. When I go to the doctor, they actually address my concerns instead of just starting with my weight. When I go into a store to try on clothing, they actually talk to me and want to help me find a cute outfit. Seriously, retail stores for fat people are the 7 rings of hell. I've had more people want to be my friend in the last 6 months than I have in my entire life. The first time I tried to lose weight in 2019, I lost 50 pounds and suddenly everyone was so kind to me. But then I unfortunately gained 80 pounds back. And to go from someone who was loved and everyone was proud of them and complimented them all the time to someone who was disgusting and people couldn't even look at me anymore, it was very validating on how fat people are treated by society. And now losing 80 pounds again, I can tell you with 100% certainty that people are way kinder to you when you are thinner. Even if you don't mean to do it, you are more kind to people who are thin. Fat people are not seen as human beings. You see someone and you say, oh, that's a fat person. You don't say that's a person. Our fat phobia runs so deeply that we don't even realize that we're doing it. People make comments to me now about fat people when they don't realize that I used to be 80 pounds heavier, and it is absolutely disgusting. Fat people are systemically oppressed, not only in the medical system, but in society as a whole. Unfortunately, we will always choose the thinner person over the fatter person, because we see more worth in thinness than we do in fatness. If you ask any former fat person what their experience is, I bet you they will say the exact same thing that I'm saying right now. I have experienced both sides of the coin, and honestly, being fat is awful. And it's not because of how you feel, it's because of how society treats you. And then, not to mention, when you lose the weight, people don't want to be your friend anymore because you outshine them. You threaten them. Some women only want to be your friend because you make them look better. And that was a very sad reality that I had to learn. So please, if you don't think that this is true, talk to someone who used to be fat. Or listen to your fat friends right now. Fat people deserve everything that thin people already have. We should not have to fight for equality because of our body size. Do better.
Let's talk about some things that I'm not allowed to do because I'm fat. Take that with a grain of salt. I'm not saying I can't do these things. I'm just saying when I do, I always get some interesting responses. starting out strong. If you're fat, you're not allowed to say that you're fat because people will say, you're not fat, you're beautiful. Like, when did I say I was ugly? Seriously, fat's not like a bad word. It's just factual. Like, I'm just fat. Like, it's gonna be okay. I'm never allowed to think that a boy is flirting with me. I feel like I have said to my friend, like, I'll have someone actually flirt with me, and I'll be like, this guy I feel like is flirting with me, and they'll be like, really? Like, do you think so? I've literally had friends, like some of my best friends in high school had their boyfriends would flirt with me, like actively flirt with me, but it was just like funny. Like, it's just Michelle. I'm realizing now it's just because I was fat, so it's like just a joke that he would be interested in me. I'm definitely not allowed to say that I'm hungry first or like suggest that we go get food, because clearly I'm like such a skinny little, like, you only know if I'm fat by me being like, let's go get food. I don't know why this is such a fear that I have. It's like, is this universal? Please let me know. This one's personally annoying to me. I feel like when you're fat, you're not allowed to say like that you're lazy or like you can't be lazy. This really upsets me because I am lazy. Like, I'm not fat because I'm lazy or lazy because I'm fat. I just like to sit and rot and fucking watch TikTok. Like, is that hard? It's cute and fun when a skinny girl does it, and she's just like self-care vibes. But when I do it, it's like people are like, go to the fucking gym or stop eating. Like, what? As a fat, we've talked about things that we're not allowed to do. Let's talk about some things that we are actually required to do as a fat by skinny people. It's like just kind of an expectation. Piggybacking off of the fact that we're not allowed to think that anyone has a crush on us because we're fat and therefore obviously ugly, disgusting, no one wants to have a crush on us. We also have to have a crush on everyone else. And let me explain. Does anyone else feel like a lot of skinny people will flirt through you? Like, anytime I talked to a man, like in high school, people would be like, oh, you have a crush on him, like, that's so cute. I literally don't. Like, I was just speaking to him and they're like, don't even deny it, girl, like, it's okay, I see you. And I'm like, no, actually I see you. I think you have a crush on him and you're using me like having a crush and making it as a joke as an excuse to talk to this man, and that's like weird. Maybe this is where the like feeling of, you know, being fat and having a crush on someone makes you feel like a monster, is because the expectation and the way that straight people make it seem like when you do have a crush is so uncomfy. Like, oh my god, she has a crush on you. I know a lot of fat people relate to this one. You feel like you always have to be funny. I think everyone expects us to be like Melissa McCarthy, Rebel Wilson. Like, every fat person has to be funny. No, sometimes I do feel like a joke to a lot of people, and that's humbling. I mean, I kind of don't really hate it that much because then no one takes you seriously. I feel like if you're fat, you're required to always like kind of come with a disclaimer that you're trying to lose weight. Like, I feel like anytime I come in contact with like a new person, the fact that I'm on a weight loss journey comes up very quickly. But it's because I feel like fat people always have to be like working on themselves and like trying to like lose weight. And also, if I like order a salad, people will be like, who are you fooling? What do you want from me? I don't know. Or if I go to the gym, I just feel like ostracized, but you're also telling me to lose weight, but then you get mad at me for doing the things that help me lose weight. So like, what is that? What? Literally, are you okay? Apparently, if you're fat and in a relationship with someone who's skinny, you actually have to be a millionaire. I'll see couples on TikTok of like a skinny man who's attractive dating a fat girl, which all of the comments will be like, she must be fucking loaded, like she has the most money in the world. Like, if you're fat, you have to date only ugly people or other fat people in society's standards as ugly. You show people like a picture of your boyfriend or girlfriend and they're like, oh, they're actually cute. Like, what do you mean by actually? Nobody's seen the movie Hairspray, like with Zac Efron. I know it's like impossible of a concept to think that Zac Efron would find a fat woman attractive, but I don't know. I heard rumors that him and Nikki Blonsky dated in real life, so believe it, like, you'd be surprised.
So I work at a restaurant. I just got off my shift. And if there's one thing that you'll recognize from working in a restaurant, it's that people who are obese and are twice the size of a regular person, it's not just a matter of hormones and lifestyle factors. They really do just eat twice as much food as a regular person. A lot of times obese people will eat in secret, and so you won't really see it as much, and you will think that like maybe they just have some sort of hormonal thing, maybe they just have a genetic predisposition to being overweight. And while that is the case, people have different metabolisms. Obese people just have a tendency to eat abnormally large amounts of food. The reason that people are so obese today is because food is so readily available, and so much of it is ultra processed, hyper palatable. It's just easy to put down a lot of calories. Evolutionarily, this is an amazing trait to have because it causes you to seek out food. But now that the food seeking is not as necessary anymore, people are just getting really, really fat. And this is coming from someone who used to be like 40, 50 pounds overweight all through my childhood. I didn't lose it until I was like 19, 20 years old. But it's just one thing that I don't think gets talked about enough. I think people always try and focus on, oh, they are just lazy, they don't exercise, or they have some hormonal thing, they've got a genetic condition that causes them to gain weight, they have this, they have that. Guys, they just eat too much food. And trust me, if I wanted to, if I just listened to my hunger signals and ate as I wanted, I would be 300 pounds. But I will say this, losing fat was incredibly difficult when I was only focused on the diet aspect of things. What really caused me to lose a lot of weight was changing my mentality. And I know that sounds so corny, and it does kind of sway from what I was just saying about how it's just eating too much food. You need to start identifying as a person who doesn't eat that much food anymore, because it really is an identity issue. You know that food comforts you. Food is like your thing that you do. People call themselves foodies. Not a lot of fat people do that. But if you're an overweight person, go out to eat with your leaner friends and watch them. It's like they don't care about their food. I am the other way. I go out to a restaurant, and if my friends have food on their plates, it's almost like I can't even hear them talking because all I'm seeing is their food on their plate. So clearly it's still something that I'm working on, but the fact of the matter is when I go out to eat, I order a normal sized portion of food, even though it's less food than I want in here. I know up here that's what I need to eat. And then when you eat it, your hunger signals will tell you that you're still hungry, but you're really not. You're just craving more food because that's the kind of person you've been your whole life. Anyways, this is becoming a long rant. Point of this video is to say that the obesity epidemic is twofold. One, it's not talked about enough that obese people don't have anything wrong with them. They just eat too much food. And number two, if you want to escape obesity, you can't just eat less food because you'll fail. You need to change who you are in your mind first and know that you're not an obese person. You're just a person in an obese person's body, and you can change that. Maybe see a therapist. Maybe go see a hypnotist. That could work.
When you are the fat friend and you get hit on instead of your very skinny friends, watching how they respond is absolutely astonishing. And so I want to share a little bit of a story. I remember several years ago, I was with one of my skinny friends in a city, and she looks over at me and says, "Hey, that guy is so cute, but he won't stop checking me out." All right, bold of you to assume that he's checking you out, but carry on. In any case, several minutes, go by, and he actually comes over and he introduces himself to me, followed by her. And then it becomes very clear that he's directing his attention towards me, trying to get to know me. Not including her by any means, but again, very clear energy. So then he offers to buy both of us a drink. And when he leaves to go do that, she says, "I don't like him. I want to leave this bar. I'm not having a good time here." Okay, why don't you like him? He has been nothing but kind. Is it because you're not the one being hit on? Do you know how I felt for several?
What I eat in a day is a fat person who's not trying to lose weight. This morning, my wife went to the gas station next door and bought me a Faygo. For breakfast, I had cereal. Later in the day, I had a hot chocolate. I love these with mini marshmallows on them. And for dinner, I had buffalo chicken mac and cheese. That's all for the day. Love you. Bye.
size small to medium in North America, and currently I'm in Thailand. And the other day I had to go shopping because I realized that I didn't actually bring any clothes on this trip, so I went to the mall. Guess what size I am in Asia? I am an extra large. Even on one tag it said small S, M, L, F. I can only assume F is for fat, and that was my size, okay? Now scroll on my feed, you will see that I'm actually just like a very average size person. But here's the lesson here, okay? Size is purely subjective, okay?
Yes.
North America, I'm a small to medium. Here I am apparently an extra large. So as long as you're confident in your body, who cares what the label says?
What got me to obesity wasn't just like little mindless snacking at night and choosing the high fat option of something and choosing the full sugar soda. It was never those things. I think that those things can probably push you into like the more overweight range, but what got me to actual obesity was not that. You want to know what it is? It was eating more than 3 full meals a day. And I'm not talking about like having 4 meals in a day, but having them be smaller. I'm not talking about meal timing. I'm talking about having like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, regular normal food with snacks in between the day, but adding on like 1 to 2 full on like extra meals per day. I've lost 50 pounds and I still eat 3 meals a day and I still snack throughout the day, and I've been able to maintain my weight loss. I'm very much a people pleaser, so something that I would do is I would have like say lunch at home, and then I would get a text from a friend, or my boyfriend would text me and be like, hey, do you want to go out to lunch? And I'm like, yes, because like I want to spend time with you. And then I would end up having another meal, or I would go to work and I would have my lunch packed. I would eat my lunch, and then people would be like, you want to DoorDash some food? I'm like, fuck yeah, I do. And I would have another meal. And of course that turned into a food addiction and later caused more problems, but it was never just like the little choices I made every day. It was bigger decisions. My point here is not to worry about getting the lowest calorie option of stuff and, oh my gosh, if you eat the full fat yogurt, you're going to get fat. Like, those are not the things that are going to get you to be obese, okay?
One of the things that my smaller friends or my friends that have never been in a bigger body struggle to understand is how different people treat you when you're bigger. I mostly experienced this from men in college, and when I was explaining it to one of my friends, she like just couldn't believe me. When I was in college in a bigger body, I would stand next to my friend who was more skinny or in the beauty standard. We would be talking to a guy and he would talk to her like she was there and not even look at me. It was like I didn't exist. And then I lost weight. And all of a sudden it was like I was actually in the room. Like they would reintroduce themselves to me as if we hadn't known each other for all of college. Now there's no shame to my smaller friends who have never experienced this. Of course they can't understand. But if you've experienced this too and you want to explain it to your friends that don't understand, what I would recommend is telling them this. Because I'm sure that they'll say, oh yeah, sometimes guys ignore me, they're not interested in me either. And it's different. Someone not being interested in you because you're not their type is so different from them acting like you literally are not in the room because they don't deem you worthy enough. They just automatically assume that you are less healthy, less interesting, less intelligent, less fun, whatever it is, because of what you look like. And that is heartbreaking. If you are the friend in a smaller body in this situation, then the best thing that you can do for people that are struggling with this is just to listen to us and believe us that this is what happens. It's okay if you haven't experienced it or you don't understand it or you can't imagine it. I am so happy you haven't had to deal with this. Let's just open this conversation and love each other a little bit better. Because no matter your body size, you deserve to feel like people want you around.
I just finished having a huge dinner with my dad, and I unbuttoned my pants after dinner. I'm like, ugh, Dad, like I'm so full. I'm getting so fat. Would you tell me if I was getting fat? He looks me dead in the eyes and goes, oh, I'm telling you right now you're getting fat. Oh, okay, perfect. Oh, okay, perfect. I will be in the gym starting tomorrow, 5 a.m., effective immediately. Dead silence after that. I said, okay, okay, you ate me the fuck up. Sorry.
One thing that I think is so unfair about being a fat friend is that oftentimes we're the ones that gotta run interference between our slim friend and a random man out in public at a function at a club. But once we do that, we're the big linebackers. We're the RV built hoes that's hating. We're jealous and we don't want to see nobody happy. When 9 times out of 10, the girl told me before we left the house, do not let me get my number out. She said, girl, you know how I get when I get a couple drinks in me. Don't let me get my number out to no man. And I said, okay, I got you. So now I see y'all chit-chatting in the function. You're asking for her number. I walk up and I'm like, oh, nah, she good. She good. Your friend, she want to come with me. She want to give me her number. She acted like she don't know why I'm doing this. Oh my gosh, girl, it's okay. Sir, you did not see it, but when you had your back turned buying the drink, she was giving me the eyes. She went, that was my signal to come over there. That's the only reason I came up. I don't give a damn. I don't give a fuck what she do. I don't care. I do not. And she could give her number to every single dude in this club. I wouldn't care. But she gave me specific instructions before we even left the house. And I'm just trying to be a good friend, okay?